Hi guys, Neil from the New Zealand Cheese School again, and today I'm going to try and tackle the thorny subject of cheese and cholesterol. Now, I'm sure you're aware, or maybe you're not, but there are two different types of cholesterol. The low density or LDL, low density lipoprotein, or LDL cholesterol, and then the other is the high density or lipoprotein, or the HDL. So the low density lipoprotein is the bad cholesterol, and the HDL is the good stuff. So why is LDL bad? Well, it's considered bad because it contributes to the buildup of buildup in the arteries, and this leads to narrowing of the arteries and increasing the risk of heart attack, stroke, and peripheral artery disease. On the other hand, the good stuff, the good cholesterol, the HDL, can be thought of as good because it acts as a scavenger in the arteries, and it carries LDL or bad cholesterol away from the arteries and back to the liver, where the LDL is broken down and passed away from the body. So the LDL, the bad, is carried away by the HDL, the good. But unfortunately, the HDL doesn't completely eliminate all of the LDL. It only takes care of about 1/3 to 1/4 of the HDL or the bad cholesterol. So we need a healthy and reasonably high dose of HDL or good cholesterol, and this may protect against heart attack and stroke. And studies have also shown that if you don't have enough HDL or your levels are too low, that there's an increased risk of heart disease. So the question is, does cheese raise cholesterol levels? Well, there's enough research out there to show that it doesn't. Cheese is considered high in cholesterol, and it's worth mentioning, though, that not all cheeses are the same fat content. Some are high, some are low. So no one answer is going to be correct here. If you're eating low-fat cheese all the time, then it's not even worth having the debate. According to the USDA, United States Drug Administration, the dietary guidelines from 2015, there is no clear link between the cholesterol-rich foods that a person eats and their blood cholesterol levels. I'll repeat that. There is no clear link between the cholesterol-rich foods that a person eats and their blood cholesterol levels. Instead, it's the saturated fat in cheese that they say is responsible for raising cholesterol levels. However, here the research is mixed. A study from 2015 showed that there was no relationship between eating dairy products and heart disease after the age of 55. This is reported in Medical News Today. You can go to the website, medicalnewstoday.com, to read the study. In fact, the study found that people who ate high-fat dairy products were less likely to die of stroke. A small-scale study in 2015, another one, compared people who ate Gouda-like cheese with a control group who ate very little cheese over a period of 8 weeks. At the end of the 8 weeks, the researchers found no difference between the group's blood cholesterol levels. It was a small-scale study, so you have to take a little bit of care about that study. But there's a number of other smaller scale studies which have done the same or come up with the same answer. In 2017, another study found that a complicated relationship between dairy consumption and health risk factors. Whilst cheese can play a role in raising blood cholesterol levels in some people, in moderation, it can be included in part of a varied and healthy diet. I'll quote a study from Ireland, from the University College Dublin. This was published in medicalexpress.com. The research states that Irish people eat a lot of cheese, and those people who eat a lot of cheese do not have higher cholesterol levels than those people who don't. The findings of this study indicate that those who ate large amounts of cheese consumed high amounts of saturated fats, as you'd expect, but the researchers did not find that eating large amounts of cheese led to increased bad or low LDL cholesterol levels. This research paper was published in the Journal of Nutrition and Diabetes. The scientists examined the impact of dairy foods, milk, cheese, yogurt, cream, and butter on the markers of body fatness and health in 1,500 Irish people, aged between 18 and 90. An analysis of the individual dairy foods found that cheese consumption, that's the other one I'm going to focus on today, was not associated with an increased body fat or with LDL cholesterol or the bad cholesterol increases, not at all. And then that, they said, echoes recent research from other countries that demonstrates that saturated fat from cheese does not adversely impact on blood cholesterol profiles due to the unique set of nutrients that cheese contains. What they saw was that in high consumers of cheese, that had a significantly higher intake of saturated fats and compared to non-consumers and low consumers of cheese, there was no difference in their LDL cholesterol levels. So, the scientists also found that higher intake of dairy was associated with lower body mass index, lower percentage of body fat, lower waist size, and lower blood pressure. What is it about the Irish? When examining the dietary patterns, they also discovered that people who regularly consumed low-fat milk and low-fat yogurt tended to have higher intakes of carbohydrates. They were also surprised to find that people with low-fat dietary patterns also had greater levels, higher levels of bad cholesterol. That's people who are consuming low-fat dietary patterns had higher levels of LDL cholesterols. Go figure. Then there's the French paradox, a study published by the American Chemical Society in trying to figure out why the French have low cardiovascular disease rates despite a diet rich in saturated fats. It spurred a lot of research and theories. Many of these focus on, of course, wine and lifestyle, but a key role they suggest could belong to the French staple cheese. The evidence said, the scientists say, is in the cheese metabolism. The research study noted that the research on some dairy products positively affects health and now has cast doubt on what we once knew as a firm rule that saturated fats are bad for our hearts. For example, one study found that cheese reduced bad cholesterol when compared to butter, compared with the same fat content, suggesting that high cheese consumption could help explain the French paradox. Well, food for thought and very, very, very interesting. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. And don't believe everything that everyone tells you, not even me. Go research it for yourself. But I've quoted some significant scientific research to come up with those answers today. Cheers.